Hello everybody, how are you doing? So this is a section I know a lot of you have been looking forward to because people have been telling me they can't wait for this bit. So I've actually, last night I wrote this up onto a sheet that you could print out and you could not only get to see me talk about it and hear me talk about it, but you could actually also print it out and read it and have it to refer to again and again. So it's actually, when you go through this, I think you'll see it makes sense. It's not actually anything amazing to turn failure into success. As we go through, limiting beliefs is the next chapter. The next module rather. Some of you may want to back this section up with that. Okay, but for many of you, you're actually going to see now how to turn failure into success, because as I go through this, you will see. So first of all, let me make that, enlarge that, just make it a bit bigger on the screen for you guys. Okay, so first of all, how to turn failure into success. Let's talk about what failure is, because failure doesn't actually exist, okay? Failure is only a perception, okay? Because something didn't turn out the way you wanted it to turn out. Now, did it not turn out because of an external event which you can't help? Did it turn out because someone didn't behave the way you wanted them to? And in either of those cases, it's down to your perception whether it's a failure or not. It is impossible for you to fail. Things happen, okay? Things happen. That's not good or bad. One person could see your failure as brilliant, okay, because it does something for them, or what you see as a failure from someone else's point of view could actually be good. Okay, so many people beat ourselves up, and that's the problem with failure. It's thinking about it, okay, because it doesn't exist. It's only failure if you call it failure. So I want you to remember, back at the start of this course, I talked about presuppositions of mind hacking and NLP. We said there is no such thing as failure, there is only feedback. So ask yourself this. Think about one of your failures, okay? Have you failed, or have you really learned what doesn't work and gained experience to help you move forward? If you know WD-40, like that spray, WD stands for water displacement. So it unrusts things, okay? And I don't know if it's still applicable these days because I'm not very mechanical, but we used to, if your car wouldn't start on a damp day, which I guess you don't really get these days, but when I was younger, you used to put that on the battery terminals, and if water had got in or whatever, and your car used to start sometimes. So that is called WD-40 because the 40 refers to the amount of times that they tried to get it to work, and 40 was the one that worked. Okay, so it's water displacement 40, and that is true. You can go and look that up. So they had 39 failures, and if they'd quit at any one of those times, we wouldn't have WD-40. Okay, famous Thomas Edison, he failed more than 1,000 times to create the light bulb. It's a famous saying. And somebody said to him, don't you think you should give up? And, he said, no, I've learnt 1,000 ways it doesn't work. And that's kind of what you've got to think like in terms of failure, because it doesn't exist, okay? So have you failed, or have you gained experience to help you move forward? If you take emotion out of any upset or negative feelings we have towards perceived failure, then we can go into a negative spiral and link pain to the very thing that can set us free. So if Thomas Edison had associated pain, I keep failing, this is no good, I'm stuck, I just can't seem to do it, okay, and quit, we wouldn't have light bulbs, unless someone else had invented it. Who knows? But if he'd have done that, we wouldn't have light bulbs. And as marketers, running our businesses, I speak to a lot of people that are like, I just can't get it, I'm no good at this, and it doesn't work, and I'm quitting. And it's like, well, I've tried 5 companies, okay? The company doesn't matter in most cases, guys. It's how you market, and I hope you're starting to see it's your outcome, it's what your outcome is, it's what your limiting beliefs are, it's the behaviours you take, it's the values you hold, okay? It's the environment you put yourself in. All of these things depend on your success, not the business. So if you have got, now this is where I come from in terms of the mind hacking, and this is why I love mind hacking. It's all very well reading that, what I've just said, and I'm sure it makes sense to you, and it's like, yeah, there's no such thing as failure, Paul. Yeah, I get that. That's all good. Yeah, I understand it. However, I still feel like crap when I think about something that I haven't achieved. It still hurts. So I'm going to talk you through an exercise now that can get rid of that. Okay? Because I don't have a problem with self-development. It's great. But the self-development doesn't often it doesn't give you the how. It gives you the knowledge. It gives you what we call a reframe. Think of it like this, like I've just said to you. Some of you now are thinking, well, I suppose that makes sense. Have I failed or have I gained experience? And that's great. But for a lot of you, you're still like, well, yeah, I get it on a emotional, on a intellectual level, but on an emotional level, it still screws me up. So we're going to go through this exercise and let's see how this helps. So think of a failure that causes you negative emotions and point to where you feel it in your body. So you people talk about getting butterflies in the stomach, their chest gets tight, it's like they've got a heavy weight, a lump in their throat, these sort of things. That is that sensation in your body. So with all of these, as usual, first impressions are the right ones. So think about failures, point to where it is in your body. Get a feeling from 1 to 10, rate it, okay? It's called calibration, so we know the effect we're having. So rate it from 1 to 10, 10 being really extreme, as this is really, really, really annoying me. Okay, I feel really, really terrible. And a 1 would be, yeah, it's okay, I'm sort of over it almost, So put it 1 to 10. Now, point to where it is in your body. Notice there's an image associated with that in the space around you. Reach out and outline the size of the image so you know how big it is. If in the image you're seeing through your own eyes, so if that image is up there and in the picture that you're looking at, if you can see through your own eyes of you in that picture, take a step back out of your body so you can see yourself in the image. Play with the colour and notice what happens to the number you gave the feeling. So it might have been a 7, let's say. You move it out, that's probably already had an effect and it might already have come down, okay? Notice what happens when you play with the colours. Try turning the brightness up and down and see what happens. Usually, as you allow the colour to drain out of the image, to go to black and white, the negative feeling will decrease. Get a feeling for the power you have to change that. Literally in your hand, you have the power to change that negative feeling. Now play around with the size of the image. Okay, try making it bigger. Normally make the number worse. Make it smaller and notice what happens to the feeling though. Notice the number you assign to the negative feelings coming down. Now make the image more fuzzy, out of focus. And what I want you to do is shrink down the image so you can fit it in one hand. Grab it and throw it over your left shoulder. Way back there out of reach. And check that number again. Now obviously I've been talking you through it. You might want to pause the video and you might want to do that without me talking to you. Now you know what to do. But you will have definitely had a big decrease in that number if it's not completely gone. And guess what? If you want to get it back, you can. You can go and find it somewhere. But I would chuck it further away next time, okay? And make it smaller and more blurry and less colour and really grainy and fuzzy. And if there's any sound, make it staticky, like we've done before, guys. So that's how you can change these things that have affected you. Okay, because something that I should say as well is, remember there is only now. The past is gone. So if you had a failure yesterday, a week ago, a year ago, 10 years ago, that's gone and the past does not equal the future. Okay? Right, how to associate pleasure to a failure. Okay, sounds kind of crazy, but remember our brains run on pain and pleasure. And if we associate pain to inventing a light bulb and we give up, we don't have light. If we see pleasure, like the way Thomas Edison did, I've learned another way that doesn't work. Great, it's getting me closer to my goal. I'm getting closer to finding a way that does work, because every time I fail, inverted quotes, every time I get this feedback, every time I get this result, I'm learning something about what doesn't work, which will get me to what does work. So he fails forward, or failed forward, he's dead now, but he failed forward. So now that you can stop a bad feeling affecting you, what we want to do is feel better about it. So let's be honest, every failure is a step towards success. Successful people fail forward. Relish your failures. Now, does that mean I go out of my way to fail? No. It means I go out of my way to try and learn from what happens. Does it mean I risk my house and all my money and everything I've got on it? No, I take calculated risks, but I'll give it a go, and I learn tons, absolutely tons, when I just go and give it a go. In fact, the sales page I wrote for this course, converting well, it took me a long time to get to the point where I wrote a good sales page. Okay, but I fail forward. Okay, and that's what failure actually is, guys. You fail forward. Okay, so I'm also going to give you here successful people, give you 3 things that they do. They retrieve all useful and positive learning from the experience, i.e. Thomas Edison, hey, I found another way that didn't work, what can I learn from it? They look at other options that might have been possible. So I did that and it didn't work, so what could I have done differently if I'm in the situation again? Or, okay, I could have done it that way. So they think like that. And then they clarify how they might do things differently in the future. Okay, so yeah, okay, so next time I will definitely do this, okay? And that's what they do, and that breaks that cycle of failure, because the brain will always want to do the thing that it knows. It always goes back to the patterns. It always goes back to the same pattern if it can. It sticks with what's familiar. Those 3 things break you out of that cycle. What I'm going to do differently next time, okay? Now, again, if you've got negative feelings associated to perceived failure, make sure you do that exercise to neutralize them and get rid of them, okay? Because then this is more pleasurable. This will take over. Common failure patterns to avoid. Now, I've given you these. These have been researched. I've given you these so you can avoid them, basically. And just remember, if you're consciously aware, okay, oh, I'm procrastinating. Why am I doing that? Oh, I did that again and I keep repeating that pattern. Why am I doing that? Okay, how do I actually feel happy? How do I actually feel sad? How do I let myself get wound up? Okay, if you're consciously aware, that's often enough to break it. Okay, that's often enough to break these things. Okay, it's a simple mind hack. It's easy, it's not always simple to do, I guess, okay? Which is why we have the exercises that we do. Okay, so these are common patterns of failure. Okay, let's put that in quotes because there is no such thing as, well, I can't because it's a PDF, never mind. Anyway, so 1, being afraid of the unknown. So people get afraid of the unknown, so they don't go. So they stop themselves before they even start because they're scared of what might happen. And if you're one of those people, I would love to meet you. Let's talk. I genuinely do love to meet mind readers and people that can predict the future. Okay, because well, I mean, to be able to predict the future is just amazing. It's an amazing gift, and I'd love to meet you. Okay, so if you're afraid of the unknown, go into it with excitement. Okay, you want to be doing the opposite of these. So go in with a sense of wonder and a curiosity. Failure patterns, spending a lot of time with people who focus on problems rather than solutions. We've all got those friends that kind of do that focus on the negative more, on, oh, why didn't this work, and never works for me, and that's wrong, okay? So I'm just waving to a neighbour. So if you hang around with those people, you're being fed constantly, okay, problems and things that are going wrong, things that don't work out for them, negativity, okay? They presume change is hard work. So quitting before they even start or at the first hurdle. Again, Thomas Edison, if he'd have known it was going to take 1,000 times, would he have carried on? I'm guessing yes. I'm guessing he would. Would you? Would I? Well, it's going to take 1,000 times. Oh, if you knew how difficult it was, would you start? Successful people do. They start and they work it out as they go. Having unrealistic timeframes for change. Remember, a lot of people, they vastly overestimate what they can do in, say, a month. They vastly underestimate what they can do in a year or 3 years. Okay, and if you think, at the minute I'm broke, I've started this business, I'm going to make $10,000 a month starting next month. Yes, it does happen, okay, but it's not very realistic. It does happen. It can happen, okay. So what happens is people see people that maybe have done it, they're broke, they get into a business, they go, hey, I'm going to do 10K a month, and in the first month they don't make anything, okay, because they're learning, okay, and then they go, well, I didn't make 10K a month, I'm giving up. And it's such a shame because they could have been the number 1 earner in the company. Believing that what you want can't happen. Guys, anything can happen. Okay, hopefully going through this course you realise a lot of that largely depends on you. Doubting your own competence. Here's the good thing about if you doubt your own competence. I couldn't have done this course until I got qualified. I could have given you the knowledge, but at that time last night I just wrote this up while I was watching some TV. Today I've just got up and I'll go and record that video because I know this stuff inside out. Okay, I know it. And if I don't know it, I know where to get the information, so I can quickly pull it together. Okay, and that is that is my value, that I need to be able to know this stuff really well to be able to come on and talk to you about it. I needed to get the qualifications as a master NLP practitioner to be able to say, listen, I've got some credibility here. Not only have I gone and applied it and done it and achieved my 13-year-long dream, made a year's salary in a few months, have money flying in from all sorts of places now, okay? And I'm not saying I'm rich. I'm not saying it to try and impress you, okay? Because, it took a lot of money to move down here, okay? So I'm still, running a business and building a business. I've actually done it though. I've actually achieved success. I work from home. I'm free. I can do what I want. So I'm qualified from that sense, but I'm also qualified with the actual knowledge, okay, and the certificates to say, yeah, you can listen to me. I'm been certified. People back up that I know what I'm talking about. So did I doubt my own competence? Yes. So what did I do? I went and did an NLP course. If you doubt your own competence, say with YouTube marketing, guess what? Tons of YouTube courses out there. Some of them are really, really good. So you can go and learn stuff. Worrying about the effects of your change on people around you and doing nothing. Okay, give you an example. Moving down here, it's 300 miles away from my mother-in-law. Is in her 90s. Okay, big decision. Okay, but if you are always putting your life, and she's moving down, by the way, so we're good. But if you are always putting your life on hold for other people, you're going to regret that at the end of your life. There's nothing wrong with helping other people. I'm all for it. But you've got to take care of yourself before you can take care of others, okay? And I see some people, they actually reject money because they think it's bad, and it's like they want to give it away to other people, so it doesn't come to them in the first place. I see people that won't work on their business because they need to spend time with their family, and then they're all broke, or they have to get a job and they spend less time with their family. If you want to do things for other people, that's not a problem. It's part of the outcome model. If that's what makes you happy, then that's great. Just be honest with yourself. That are you in a position to be able to do what you need to do to make them happy? Generally, you need to look after yourself before you can look after others, guys. Okay, pattern failure, taking no for an answer. You get 3 no's before you quit, at least 3 no's, and even then, should you quit? Okay. Hey, I'd love to do an interview with you. No, I'm busy. Oh, okay. Okay, well, that's a no for now. When maybe we can set that up for the future. Would you be open to that? Well, yeah, I guess. Okay, and then you keep going. Go after the result you want, not in a derogatory way, but no need to take no for an answer. Being cynical. The amount of times. Let me tell you about Bob. Okay. I used to run a made-to-measure blinds business, and there was a guy I worked with called Bob, and we used to set people up in their own business, and we used to talk to him about marketing. And we had a guy called John, and John was making really good money. I mean, he was doing incredibly well. And Bob was like, well, what's John doing? I said, well, he went and he got himself a market stall. Oh, problem around here is that the market, nobody goes to the market. And I said, what do you mean nobody goes to the market? Nobody goes, it's quiet, it's dead. I said, so are the market stalls there? And he goes, yeah. So what you're asking me to believe is that all the stall holders turn up every week and nobody goes. No customers go. Well, obviously some people go. Oh, right, okay. But then John got a shop. And it's like, so John got a shop, yeah, but the rent would be too much, won't it? I said, I don't know, how much does it cost around here then? Well, I don't know. Oh, well, maybe you should check it out before you tell me you don't know. And then it would be, well, Bob does, conservatory roof blinds. Hard work but good money. Oh yeah, that's too much work, isn't it? Well, John seems to manage. you know, um, John advertises in 7 newspapers, and some of them they only just break even, but that's fine because he gets the repeat business. Well, that's crazy, isn't it? What do you mean it's crazy? If it doesn't make a return on the ad, well, no, he breaks even, Bob, but he gets the repeat customers, so that's the profit is in the repeat customers. Oh, well, that seems stupid to me. Okay, fine. So don't do that then. And what was the other thing? Basically, anything you told him to do, right, or that John did that made John successful, he had a reason why it wouldn't work. Okay, he was cynical before he even knew how much the rent would cost for a shop, for example. You know, oh, I said do a guarantee. We'll offer to beat any genuine like for like quote by at least 10%. Okay, can't do that because people will just get a fake quote, won't they? They'll get a fake quote and then they'll present it to me and I'll have to give them 10% off. And I'm like, you still got the order, you'd still be making a profit. You know, and he'd be like, and I said it's genuine, so it needs to be on genuine letterhead paper. Oh, I couldn't do that. You see what I mean? And then at the end of the conversation, he says, so what does John do? And I said, I've just told you everything John does. And he'd come up with a reason every time why you can't do it. Don't be cynical. You know, it's that fear of the unknown again, I guess. You know, go and try it. Right, keeping yourself under constant pressure. You got to take the foot off the gas sometimes. I put pressure on myself to get stuff done. It's part of that motivation thing. Overcoming procrastination, pile up the pain if I don't get it done. So that's me putting myself under a bit of pressure, and I often do 30-day blitzes where I'm just completely focused on work. But so it's good sometimes, I believe. But if you do it constantly, guess what? You get burnt out. You do. You get absolutely burnt out. You can't do anything. Okay, and you'll quit. You're more likely to quit if you're burnt out or feeling the pressure's not good all the time. Not allowing yourself to dream. You know, allow yourself to dream. Don't cut yourself short, guys, because if other people have done it, you can do it. And to sum up, the only way to fail is to quit. So I hope that's useful for you. There's going to be more exercises coming that can help with this, okay? But this is particularly the bit about failure, how to turn it into success. And I'll do a quick video on perspective positions for this module, I think, as well. So I'll look forward to seeing you in the next lesson. Okay, cheers, guys.